G'day FlossTube, Anna aka Moranalis, back with another Stitchy update. It is Friday, March 13th today. Hope you're all doing well. Nothing too exciting to report here. I just want to say welcome to anybody who's new. I have seen a couple of new subscribers in the last couple of weeks, and welcome to anybody who's come back. Always nice to get comments and know that you enjoyed the videos and the rest of it. So without further ado, I've actually had a relatively productive couple of weeks, so let's get into it. I will do a Stitch from Stash update at the end. Beyond that, things are kind of in no particular order. They're just in the order they're stacked on my pile. Very unlike my usual mode of operation, I have a start and a finish. I always watch these FlossTubes where people have started and finished something in the same week, and I think I never do that. This took me precisely 3 days, and you'll see it's tiny. Even my board's too big. So that is the Queen Bee Pincushion by Heartstring Samplery. I pulled my own colors for it, just random silks mostly that I had in the stash. The one cotton is that lighter green. I'm going to get rid of that board because that board's too big. That lighter green in the flowers there is A Week's Dye Works. That was left from the Halloween project a few years ago. So that, you'll see, that's not really my typical style of stitching. That is a piece that we will finish at the retreat I'm going to in May. Or at least I'm planning on going to, as with everything at the moment. Who knows what's happening. But yeah, come hell or high water, I'll be at that retreat. Thank you very much. So, all good. I will post a link below. I put the conversions for the colors that I've chosen for mine on an old WordPress website that I had ages ago. Like, I looked at it, it's like 7 years since I've posted anything. But I put the conversion there because at least then it'll be out on the internet and you guys can read and look through the thread colors that I picked. A lot of them are the Silks For You monthly colors, so I don't really have like a reproducible label or anything to give you anything that's close. So if you got the Silks For You subscription, great, maybe you have it. If not, all I did was look at something I thought made a nice color. Actually, having said that, I think I more or less swapped out everything. It started with the DMC called fors, and then I just pulled things that were kind of close. On the chart, the red letter and the heart were meant to be two different reds. I ended up just using the same red because unlike most of the stuff I work on, this literally, most of those colors took less than a thread of any one color, a length of any one color. And it simply came down to I didn't want to open it yet another scheme for one little bit. I also struggle on what letter. The chart gives you all the letters of the alphabet to pick what you wanted to go in the star pattern. And I thought about doing A for Anna or M for Momtastic. Basically I couldn't come up with anything that I really liked, so I thought B for B was fine, and it meant I didn't have to math out another letter. So I stuck with the B that was originally charted, but you can put any letter you want in there. So that was easy, start and a finish, no before picture or anything. The fabric is just a random, I'm guessing 32 count leftover. And in fact, it's the same fabric as this. I had this started, I think I was still working in the Life Ring when last you saw it, but now it's totally started and fully finished. In fact, this board in the back is the board I used to show you my stitching on, so now I have to go get, or I got a bigger board that will hopefully fit the chatelaine and stuff better. So the background is done with gelatos and then sealed with a gloss gel medium over the top, because gelatos react with water and will dissolve and melt and move all over. Not something you want mixing with your stitching. And then I don't know how much the glitter shows up, but there's a coordinating glitter and sort of bubbles that again is embedded in gel medium, so the glitter doesn't come off anywhere. And then random little embellishments that I had either laying around. These couple of sea related ones I actually just fluke when I was at the store looking for the board. I saw that packet and I thought, I can get a packet. This piece has had a little bit of a drama. I took it to my local meetup and got home that day. It was a very wet and miserable day. Got home, had groceries to unload in the car and all sorts, and so the boot of the car got left open for like 2 seconds while I took these groceries in and put them on the bench and came back, and a Kelpie jumped in the boot of the car and was walking all over the stitching. I was not amused. That was one very dead little Kelpie. In fact, if you follow my Instagram, you might have seen the Kelpie playing dead on the porch. You know, that was half hour later and it still wasn't game to come anywhere near me. So we had paw prints in under here. I don't know if it's showing. It's definitely in person. It's slightly discolored. And then when I tried to clean it up, the reds to the white ran a bit. So those are by far the two worst spots, and I don't see it much in the camera, but it's definitely noticeable in person. So it's a bit of a bummer. Keep your Kelpies away from your stitching. But yeah, I did the best I could do to clean it up. As per usual, it's just the washer magnet sort of thing, which fortunately, because I had done the attachment like that, it's totally a non-issue to take the pins out that hold the fabric onto the foam core and attempt to wash it, and then it goes straight back on its background. However, just keep your Kelpies away from the hand-dyeds that run in your stitching generally. They're not a good combination. The other thing I've been working on, this has had quite a few days in the last week, is the Teresa Wensler. Oh, we see whether the big board is worth having. Look at that. All the cross stitch is done. So I think last you saw it, I was about halfway through the castle. I'd done that half. No, I'd done that half and was doing that side. Looking at it in the camera, it seems like it's more like 2/3 and 1/3, but being that corner, I always figure it's half. Anyway, I'm so pleased to have all that cross stitch done. There's acres of back stitching. I started back stitching down in the trees, but there's quite a bit more to be done there. And as well, there's plenty of back stitching in the castle, although that should be relatively straightforward. It's a lot of straight lines and whatnot. There's a fair bit of back stitching in those rocky hills there. And then there's not too many beads on this one, but each one of the corners, you know, has a handful of beads and stuff like that. So I will probably put this away for a while, but in another month or so I will pull it out and try and finish it. But I am so beyond pleased to have all of the cross stitching done on this monster. It's the Knight's panel. All the back stitching is done on the Knight's panel and on the Maiden. So those ones at least are just waiting for their beads. It's only the castle that needs more back stitching. So I'm super pleased. And this was just a even weave that I would have bought at the shops all those years ago. It's got the orange on the edge, so I think somebody said that's Zweigart. I really wouldn't know. Just a random, probably whatever the pattern called for in size, and an even leaf. But this has been hanging around for more than 20 years, I reckon. So, yeah, I didn't keep records back then. So, that's everything I've worked on. And, you know, having two finishes, well, two totally finishes, and then that Teresa Wentzler having such a milestone, I'm kind of sitting around going, I don't know what to pick up next, because nothing else is anywhere close to a milestone or a finish like those were. So, I don't know, maybe I'll dig out the chatelaine, because that needs more beads, a lot more beads. And you can never have too much time with the chatelaine. Because it's the end of February or halfway through March, I'll just do a quick run through of the stats from February, including the stitch from stash. But there's no more stitching, so if you aren't worried about stats and stuff, I'll see you next time. So in February I did 6 days on the Japanese moss garden. My guess is that was mostly beading. And only a single day on the triptych. So I really pulled out the triptych and pushed that one in March. Aura of Autumn, which is actually I should put pictures in so you know which ones I'm talking about. Aura of Autumn got 14 days, and that was to get a page finish into that one. The Whale also got a big push while we were in February to, yes, I did technically finish the Whale in February after 15 days in February. I think there might have been a day or two in January as well. As far as Stitch from Stash goes, I started at $95.78. The budget is $35 a month, and between the page finish for the Aura of Autumn and the Whale, I had $19.27 in credit, and 0 expenses, which leaves me with a total balance of $115.05. Reminder that all of that is Aussie dollars, so probably a bit off kilter from your typical US dollars. I did claim a 10% bonus for the Whale, since that had specialty threads. Nothing for the Aura of Autumn in terms of a bonus. And I think that's about it. Short and sweet, and yeah. I will have to go find a chatelaine to do some beading on. And I will see you in a couple of weeks. See ya.